The Queen's Gambit Accepted simplified. This is actually the defense that helped me immensely to reach 2800 in chess.com. And at the end of the video, I will show you a couple of my games played on chess.com that applying the ideas that I'm going to show you. Yeah, so this is something that I have practiced. So why, first of all, why d4, d5, c4, d takes c4? Why this is actually my recommendation? Because after d takes c4, I'm not giving white options. Like here, the options are limited, and I am the one who's kind of choosing where the game are going, yeah? So let's go back. For example, if you choose to play the Queen's Gambit declined, here white has many options. First of all, he could go knight c3 with or without c takes d5. Even after c takes d5 here, e takes d5, let's say there is bishop f4, there is bishop g5, and too many ideas. Even after bishop g5, white still have ideas like knight f3 or knight e2, etc, etc. Too many options for white. And the other actually option is, for example, knight f3 going for knight c3 next, or even Catalan. Huge systems and a huge theory that you have to face. While choosing the Queen's Gambit Accepted will remove everything around us. And actually, it's not a drawish. This is very important. I'm not going to explain the Queen's Gambit Accepted in a way that we're playing a solid chess, which is actually depending on this line. For example, knight f3, knight f6, after like e3, e6, for example, bishop takes c4, c5. This is actually the solid way to play the Queen's Gambit Accepted, which is a way I am not recommending. I want a fight, I want something to play for a win, or at least creating some problems for our opponent. So let's get started. After d takes c4, the most played move actually, and the most played move, and the move that you're going to face the most is this move, which is e3. Why e3? Because white wants to get the pawn back as quickly as possible. There is knight f3. After that, knight c3 castling and trying to reach the normal Queen's Gambit Accepted, yeah? And we will discuss e4, knight f3 as well, also knight c3. So you will be covered. But after e3, this is the most played move. Here, I like this idea, which is actually a very fighting chess, which is this e5. I strike in the center right away. Most likely, your opponent is out of the game. Like, I remember studying the first time, like maybe a couple of years ago, the first time I was studying d4, c4 with white, studying versus the Queen's Gambit Accepted, I don't know this idea, which is e5. It's, first of all, you have the surprising value, yeah? So after e5, the point is if your opponent take, you exchange queens, you play knight c6, bishop b5, castling short, or maybe bishop g4, you're doing great, yeah? So white has two ideas, either to play knight f3, which makes sense, and actually this is the most played move and the move that you're going to face the most. Like I am attacking and in the meantime protecting here on d4, thinking that everything is fine. And if you go like e4, I could go knight d2 back, attacking, and I am the one who's developing pieces, yeah? The other idea is bishop takes c4. And after knight f3 and after bishop c4, we go knight c6. Knight c6 again, attacking here on d4. If knight f3, we will be transposed, like it's a transposition, yeah? So the only idea actually here to try to do something with white is d5, but now don't worry, knight a5 will cover you. Like knight a5, we're attacking the bishop, and after bishop e2, we strike right. Guys, whenever you have a piece that's on the rim, they said the knight on the rim is grim. So in order the knight not to be a bad piece, we should not delay, yeah? We should not delay. Even though there is no clear way that we lose the knight, for example, b4 is prevented because of the bishop, but the priority is to improve your worst active piece, especially if it's a bad piece. So here right away we go c6, attacking on d5. Whenever dc came, we exchange queens, taking back, and we're slightly better. After knight c3, for example, knight f6 attacking, d takes c6, exchanging queens. Either you will lose the castling, and I will win some timbis with rook d8 check later on, or if you take with the bishop, simply knight takes c6, and this is actually slightly better for black, and this is a game of chess that black is dreaming for, yeah? Very slightly better position without any problem. Kind of better development. Still, you need to do something with this bishop, while I am going to improve my bishops once, yeah? So after e5, knight f3 is the main move. Hoping that white is going, or black is going to be like cooperative, and e takes d4, and either e takes d4 going for the isolated pawn, which is something we are not interested in, and we will go again for knight c6. And after knight c6, we're attacking here on d4. Now, the main move and the most played move is bishop takes c4. Again, hoping for e takes d4, e takes d4, playing with this isolated pawn, actually, which is a typical idea and a typical way to play this position with white. So, for example, white is hoping for knight f6, castling short, bishop e7, knight c3, castling short, bishop g5, queen d3, maybe a3, rook e1, rook d1, and this is a typical isolated pawn that I'm not recommending, yeah? I'm not recommending because it's demanding position, yeah? You need to be accurate, you need to know exactly what you should do, and it's well known, by the way, so most likely your opponent will blitz out the moves. So after bishop takes c4, I'm going to recommend this move, which is e4, attacking the knight right away. And now after e4, knight d2 is the best move, and it's the most played move that you're going to face. But maybe some of the opponents will go with this idea of queen b3, attacking on f7. The point is, if you take the knight, then bishop takes f7, and at least you will lose the knight again, and your king is going to be not too safe, yeah? However, against queen b3 we're covered. We simply go knight h6. Knight h6, we're covering the f7 square. And now we're attacking the knight, and if knight fd2, the pawn is attacked, we simply go f5. But you might ask, wait a second, but I cannot castle now. You're completely fine. Like after castling, we go simply bishop d6. And now we do have a great threat, which is what? Yeah, black to play. Try to find it out. Exactly, bishop takes h2. Guys, first of all, everything we're discussing now is on a study-only chess. So the link will be pinned in the comments, yeah? If I forgot to do so, as usual, you might try to comment there, reminding me. The other idea is, don't forget to like, subscribe the channel, yeah? Because, like, I was shocked by seeing that 80% of the viewers are not subscribed yet. Because we do have a great content, I do believe. I'm not sure, maybe it's a bad content. Like, you tell. So after knight c3, bishop takes h2, which is called the Greek gift, and after king g1, queen h4, and actually mating ideas, and if king g3, too many ideas, like maybe queen g5, maybe queen d6 first with the queen g6, this king is not safe at all, and you're completely winning. That's why, after bishop d6, black has to, or white has to find this idea, which is bishop e2. While preparing to this video, like I kind of mistakenly played h3, and I was happy because Stockfish showed me like this idea of g5, threatening g4, and great attack. Okay, g4 you take, I take back, and then the queen is coming, and it's not an easy position at all for white. So h3 is not ideal, and after bishop e2 we simply go knight f7, followed by castling short, queen e7, bishop e6, and you have zero problem, literally zero problem. Yes, you need to calculate. It's not like something you played blindly, but maybe queen e7, bishop d7, and bring the other rook to the game. You have no clear problem. You have no problem at all, not even a clear or a hidden problem as black, you know. So and also this is something you play to fight. It's not a drawish line, or white is slightly better and who's leading. Either improve his position or it's going to be a draw. No, it's not the case. If white did not play well, he will lose the game for sure. So that's f queen b3. Let's get back to the main line, which is knight d2. This is actually maybe not the main line, but I will call it the main line, the most played line, you know. And after knight fd2, this is the reason why I like this line, which is queen g5. Now, this is again, you do have a great surprising value. Queen g5 right away, improving the queen, attacking on g2. And actually, this system, guys, it's completely applicable for classical chess. But it's very, very, very dangerous for fast chess, rapid blitz, even bullet, yeah? Because after queen g5, what is this? What are you talking about, my opponent? I mean, this is something that I have never seen. And after queen g5, now, the only, or the best, not the only, the best idea for white is to play knight takes e4. Other than knight takes e4, black is much better. And it's actually not the most played move by far. Yes, it's played against me many times, but like one game my opponent found it, the other game not. Even though I played it against grandmasters, international masters, federation masters, or FIDE masters. So after queen g5, if not knight takes e4, which is the best move and the main line, if g3 for example, you simply go queen g6. Your queen is great here on g6. You will follow by knight f6, bishop f5, bishop d6, Sometimes castling long is an option, but normally we castle short. We are improving our pieces easily, and there's this trick I will show you, like knight c3 again attacking, knight f6 defending, if h4, like I will just like delete any ideas like h5 later on, and after queen c2 attacking one more time. There's this trick that I wanted to show you, like if knight b5, first of all, simply bishop d6, you are good to sacrifice or to give up the bishop. Because if you think about it, white has a great structure here and a very solid structure for the dark squares. So your dark squared bishop is not going to be a very like great piece. So the trick that I wanted to show you is that it happens actually, say a3, it happens to me many times. And then before there is this idea of like say the knight on c3. Yeah, this is just to show you the trick, which is knight takes d4. This is actually a fascinating move and happened to me many times. The point is, after knight takes d4, e takes d4, there's this idea of e3. You're opening up the position. The queen is under fire and the knight as well with check. There's no knight e4. There's nothing to be done. You have to move your queen away and then I'll take and then bring the rook to the game. And this king is going to be in the middle of the street, never feeling safe. So this is actually for any ideas rather than playing knight takes e4, like for example king f1 or rook g1. The same setup, like queen g6, knight f6, bishop f5, bishop d6, you castle, and then you improve your pieces, or playing a very nice good middle game. So here the main line and the main move is knight takes e4, and after knight takes e4 we grab the pawn on g2, and white has to find this idea, which is knight g3. And after knight g3, maybe ideas like bishop f1 is annoying. That's why we go queen h3. Sounds good. Now the main idea for white is to go for queen b3. Either right away or knight c3 first. It's going to be a transposition. So we go knight f6. And after queen b3 now in this position, actually white felt like, oh, now I'm doing great because I'm attacking here on f7. Bishop b6, there's queen b7, there's bishop takes, and at least I will win a pawn. If knight d8, this is actually a bad move because black is moving back. Yeah, I should be completely fine, and this is a very bad opening from my opponent. Maybe my opponent has misplayed this idea or forgot his preparation or etc. But here comes the brilliant move, bishop d6. Actually, it's a brilliant. Oh, wait a second, this is a brilliant move. Yeah, we just sacrificed the f7 pawn easily. Yeah, and now black started thinking like, why did you play bishop d6 right away? What am I missing? Yeah, this is actually, guys, this is something you don't see from if you are reading a book or something, but during a game you will feel. Yeah, during the game you will feel your opponent will start spending time here, even if he is playing blitz, bullet, rabbit, etc. What am I missing? There's something here, but at the end of the day you have to take, otherwise I might simply castling, and what's the point of queen b3? Knight a5 is a threat, and so wait a second, I will take. But now simply we go king d8. And white says, okay, I'll go bishop d2. Wanted to castle long. And now, the best move actually is bishop takes g3. And there is a point for bishop takes g3. It's not arbitrary move. But there is a very nice trick that I have used, and it works too many times. And I advise you to try it out. Yeah, bishop g4. The point is, you're not allowed to castle, and it seems that queen b7 is winning. Yeah, but if white played queen b7, white is completely lost. Try to find the move out. Wow, what a move! See, knight b4. A deadly move. Like you're threatening mate in two from here and there. Cannot be stopped. Cannot be stopped. I do believe Grandmaster once was a victim for this trap. Yeah, I mean this is completely winning. Even if you take the two rocks, it's nothing. Yeah, knight d3 checkmate. No king e2, no king d1, no king f1. Yeah, so it's a checkmate you cannot avoid. But actually this is not a great move because white could play knight ce2, and then long castling probably is coming, and that's why we took here bishop takes g3. And after f takes g3, which is forced because h takes g3, you lose the rook. Now I'll go bishop g4. Again, you are not allowed to castle long. But wait a second. How about queen takes b7 now? See, this is another trick because queen takes b7 is again a bad move, and black is completely winning. And it happens, yeah? Queen g2. What? Queen g2, but there's queen takes a8 and you lose the other rook. Yeah, you're right. First of all, queen takes h1 is winning. Second of all, knight b4 again is winning. Ooh, what an idea. What an idea. So again, the same idea, and it works. That's why after bishop g4, see, this is something that, again, this is something that I want you to imagine, like while watching this. Playing against your opponent, imagine that you're white, you know? You're white and you don't know this position. And all of a sudden, like bishop g4, and can I take on b7? Looks tempting because you're attacking here, there. This king is in the middle of the street. Like, black is doing something doesn't make many sense, that doesn't make that much of sense. And he should be lost. No. Black is doing completely fine. Bishop d5 is the move because queen g2 was actually a serious idea. And now knight takes d5, queen takes d5, check, king c8, and knight e2. Hoping for one day to go long castling. But now rook d8 attacking the queen. Queen e4 keeping the queen centralized. Bishop takes e2, king takes e2. And we go to solve the problem of this rook with a5. The point is to go rook a6. The rook will join the game this way. The king will be safe on b8. And black is doing completely great. And practically, like I know this position maybe for Stockfish is slightly better for white. Yeah, I know. But I will, if I will play this position 10 times and you give me the choice whether to be white or black, I'll be black in the 10 games. White. Why? Because I have the safer king. And king safety is very, very important to evaluate the position, which is something actually Stockfish doesn't understand. Because he sees either the king on e2 is in danger or not. He sees, like he sees the future, you know. So this is actually, if you master this so far, many of your games will be like this. Many of your games. Now let's play around this. You know, this is clear? I hope so. Let's play around this. First of all, what if knight f3? See. Now, I used to play another idea, like against knight f3. I used to play knight f6 with bishop g4 ideas, okay? However, now in this position, like knight f6 and then ideas like bishop g4. And by the way, this is something that I just going to show you in case you're interested in, like e6, and after if you do nothing, then bishop d6, knight d7, c6 probably, and you're doing fine. Yeah, you're doing fine. c6 or c5, e5, you're doing fine. But it's kind of a discovery for me. Like wait. There is this idea which is after queen b3. Bishop takes f3 first, g takes f3, and now c5. The point is, after queen takes b7, knight b7. You sacrifice the pawn, you have a compensation, you're safe, you're fine. After dc5, bishop c5, you castle short, you have a better pawn structure, better development, a huge counterplay, a huge compensation. Good. But I discovered another idea, which is actually I am proud of, which is knight c6. Wait, knight c6? What's the point? The point is, if you go e4, it's going to be a transposition for e4. If you go e3, guess what? Again, it's a transposition. Oh, very interesting. And many of your opponent will go for this e3. Many. But the best move actually, and not the refutation, but the best way for white to play is d5, though it's fine. I'll go back simply knight b8. And after e4, e6, bishop takes c4. I'll go knight f6 with tempi. This is actually a very good, very important move. And after knight c3, now I will exchange. You exchange back, and now bishop d6. You castle, I do the same. If you play bishop g5, I will go bishop g4. I have no problem with development. If you go h3, I will go h6, and I have no problem with development. And simply I'll go bishop f5, knight bd7, knight b6, rook e8, and I have zero problem, guys, in the opening. Guys, this is very important. If you're playing even a Slav, Queen's Gambit decline, whatever, you'll face huge problems with this bishop. Here, you developed the pieces without any problems. How to solve the problem of the bishop? Like it works from its own place, you know? You don't need to play b6, bishop b7, followed by dc4, like for example Slav stuff or the Queen's Gambit declined, etc. So now you're completely safe, you're completely fine. And if after knight e6, e3 is played, it's again a transposition, e5, completely fine. d5, e4, and if bishop takes e4, e4, followed by queen g5. What a great position. Perfect. So see, Is it 2 stone with 1? I forgot the idiom. You write me in the comments if you're watching so far, yeah? So after d takes c4, we have discussed about e3. We have checked knight f3. The other idea is e4. And now again, I like this idea, which is knight c6, which is kind of completing each other with the rest of the suggestions. And now the pawn is under attack. 2 ways. Either you push d5 or you go knight f3. If you go knight f3, is it the main move? Doesn't matter. Actually, you could go knight e5 simply. And the point I want you to know is that after f4, you could go knight d3 check. And after bishop takes d3, c takes d3, queen takes d3, you start attacking the center with e6, and you have simply the bishop pair with an open game. Yeah, the position is going to be open, and the bishop pair will tell at the end of the day. So knight c3 and knight f6, for example. And then you will have to take, I'll take back, my bishop will be great here, I will castle short, and then make a connection between the pieces. And too many weaknesses with white, you know? So that's f d5. The other idea actually is knight f3. Because knight f3 you're defending here on d4. I'll go simply bishop e3, bishop g4, sorry. And after bishop g4, I am attacking here on f3. Oh, sorry, I am pinning the knight on f3, so I am attacking here on d4. And now 2 ways. Either you push d5 or you go bishop e3. Because you need to defend the pawn. If you go bishop e3, I'll go simply e5. Strike in the center. This is actually what I like about this. And this is what you are going actually to like about this. Is the activity of your approach. Like black is active. This is called active chess. And active chess is very annoying. Because your moves are easy. You don't have the big problem to solve. And your opponent has to be alert, you know? If white is sleepy, lazy, thinking that every single move works, no. You need to think now. So after e5, d5, we go simply knight d4. And after bishop takes d4, you could go actually e takes d4, but bishop takes f3 first, queen takes f3, and now e takes d4. After bishop takes c4, you go bishop b4, simply check, and now either the king has to move or knight d2. Both case, I'll take back, and then knight e7. Again, if you ask Stockfish, might say slightly better for white, but again, give me this position 10 times and ask me to choose. I will choose black the 10 times. Why? Because the king is not safe. Computer doesn't understand this, because he says, okay, my king is not safe, but I calculate, and based on my 50 moves calculation, you are not going to make any problems for my king. My king is safe on d2, but we are not playing chess like this, you know? So knight g6, castling short, you'd have ideas like f5, opening the position, c6, opening the positions, sometimes b5, if you take rook b8, attacking on b2. Too many dangerous idea. If I or any content creator or any trainer or any book writer recommend this position for you, or such kind of position for you as the repertoire, leave it. Like leave the channel, the book, the course, the whatever. Yeah, because this is completely unpractical. Okay, so this is f bishop e3, and one of the most played move actually here is d5, especially against me. I go knight e5, and now bishop f4, because white wants to simplify things, like attacking the knight that already attacks the knight here on f3. You will see, I do believe, like in a few minutes, in one of my games, or many of my games, I took bishop takes f3, but knight g6 is a better idea. And after bishop g3, now I'll go e5 simply. And after that, knight f6, bishop d6, castling short. And there is a very nice idea that, or a very nice plan that I want to show you, which is after, for example, I say knight f3, castling. There's this idea of preparing knight f4. Like after rook e8, for example, I'll be preparing f4, knight f4, sorry. And after you take, I take back, but I need to make sure that I'm controlling the e5 square. This actually happened mainly if there is this idea. For example, now knight f4, you take bishop takes f4, or maybe, yeah, knight f4 works. If you take, I take back, and now I have the e5 square, in which I will start using, like queen here, queen here, queen here, knight d7, and then knight e5, rook e7. Like I will use this gate. It's a huge gate that I will use to improve every single piece of mine, and I will show you games how this is actually played. So again, easy development, no problem at all. The last move that I want you to be aware of, nothing you have to know, like You know what's interesting about it? You don't have to know. It's good to know, but you don't have to know. This is actually a big difference. And now the last move is knight c3. After knight c3, maybe this is actually works, and you might find a transposition here or there. But here, just small idea to keep in mind, which is this idea of a6. Why a6? Because I want simply to play b5 followed by bishop b7, supporting the pawn. So the direct play, either e4, e3, whatever, you go b5 and you are a pawn up. The point is, this knight is misplaced. If you go a4 now, attacking on b5, I will win a tempo. Normally, if the knight on b1, I will lose the c4 pawn, and my play will make no sense. Yeah. But for example, here, if you don't want to lose time, knight e2, e6, knight f3, I will now very important move, which is knight c6, and this is actually a very important maneuver with knight c6 line, with knight c3 line. Sorry, knight c6. The point is, if you go knight g3 attacking, I'll go knight a5 defending. I'm not going to give the pawn back easily, and even if you take the pawn back now, say bishop takes c4, now thanks for the bishop pair for free. Like c takes d4 followed by bishop b7, knight c6, etc, etc, and black is doing actually great. You might delay this idea of c takes d4, but you have no problem. Again, all of your pieces are working. Not only that, if and you will finish the development, black is completely better because of the bishop pair with zero compensation. Normally, if you have the bishop pair, you need, or it makes sense to have a weak king or weak pawn structure, or you have a weakness, yeah, something instead. Why did you take the bishop pair in the opening? Unless your opponent is doing something bad or wrong, at least. So this is if e4 or e3 at least, and if a4, for example, which actually makes sense. Why not to play a4? Knight c6 again, e3. Now knight a5. I'm not going to give the pawn easily. But wait a second, like you could go knight e5 and take the pawn back. No, bishop e6. I'm not going to give the pawn easily. But what should I do next with black? You could simply go g6, bishop g7, castling. Or, if white insisted and played e4, saying that, wait a second, I want to go d5 and then take my pawn back. I am insisting. Then there is this interesting idea, which is knight d7. The point is, I'm attacking the knight. If d5, knight takes e5 is a very serious idea, and I am going to attack an attacker. Yeah. Also, I am giving space for the f pawn. So f6, bishop f7 is there, keeping the pawn protected, and black is a pawn up, and black is better in this position. This is all you need to know. Now you're ready to play the Queen's Gambit Accepted. However, I'll show you a couple of my games, so you will have better ideas of this opening. And also, it's always good to show some ideas or some openings of your practice. Like, I am practicing this one. I'm not showing this stuff out of nowhere, out of my practice. So I'm giving you practical information now. It's just theoretical information. So if you go to my games and then use the advanced, here's searching to the games I won against GMs, or maybe any title, you know. Okay, go for example GM, because this is the first that I have done, and then Queen's Gambit, because there's no choice for Queen's Gambit declined, or sorry, Queen's Gambit accepted, just Queen's Gambit black, and search. So see, you'll find these games. Actually, I search for won games, games I won. So here we go. I don't know why he's giving me yeah, because this is a rabbit game. No, it shouldn't be like lost here. Anyways, you will see a couple of my games, couple of my wins, some of my losses as well. So I played it too many times. Wait a second, GM, Queen's Gambit, black. Yeah, this time it should be the way to do it. Anyways, I have done this, and I have selected some games. Let me show you. This is actually against the Grandmaster Gabriel Florm, rated 28-29. I was rated 2706. Now I passed the 2800, and I mean finally. So after c4, d4, e4, what do we play here? Exactly, knight c6. Knight c6 attacking on d4, knight f3, bishop g4, d5, knight e5, and after bishop f4, we said this is actually the main move with e5, but bishop takes f3 is a move that I like to play. Again, the same, almost the same strategy, like knight f6 and knight d7. This check is useless. Knight c3, bishop d6, bishop f1 castling, and with the same idea. I will use the f4 square. You take, I'll use the e5 square. Otherwise, I have a great piece on f4. So knight f6, queen b3 attacking, knight h5, I don't care for the pawns because I have rook b8 and taking here. Knight f4 again, whenever you take, I will take with the pawn. And now I have a great square in which I used, and after bishop c3, take. Again, see, this is actually a very classical great game. Why? Because I have a great knight against a very bad bishop thanks to this white color pawn structure. So after knight e5, bishop g2, like just not to make it too long, b5, b4, I started to attack. Guys, this is actually a note, yeah, a rule. If you do have an advantage, you need to start an attack. And that's the reason why I start pushing my pawns. Actually, in somewhere I make some mistakes probably, and I lost the momentum somehow, but then I managed to find great ideas like rook b5, rook b1, and then queen b6, rook b2. And here actually I missed mate in 2, I do believe. Instead, yeah, this is actually very crazy because here I had queen takes a2 followed by queen b2, but then I found it the other way around, like queen here, and then the point was take, and then queen b2 checkmate. This is actually, it's not something that I can explain other than I had no time, you know, so 4 seconds. So this is, did you see the picture? Forget about the calculations, forget about some details of the game. The bigger picture now you understand, yeah? If you see my game before, well, okay, this is a nice play, but I don't understand what's going on. But now you understand what was going on in my mind, and I do believe it's crystal clear, yeah? Let's see more games. This is again against another grandmaster who's rated 23 or 27-30. d4, d5, knight f3, again 90-60. This is my trick. I don't want to say my trick because I do believe many players played it, but I mean many trick to reach the same like position that I like. Queen g5, again g3 as we said, queen g6, knight f6, bishop f5, bishop d6, castling, you're completely fine. Knight f6, bishop d6, h5, knight d5, I don't care, h4, take back, I have to take with a pawn, but it's completely fine, no problem. Actually, you could castle long. Queen c2 attacking, f5 simply defending, bishop d5 trying to do some harm, but then this is actually a very creative idea. The point was after you take, simply I go rook h2, and I was planning to sacrifice on probably here and then somewhere here, because if you go for rook takes g3, maybe there was some ideas like that, maybe rook takes right away. Anyways, my opponent played bishop b2, and that was actually not a great move, because there's this idea of bishop takes g3, and now I was attacking his queen. My point was, if you take my queen, I'll take intermediate check, and then after king f1, I was not sure to what to, I mean, if to take the queen or bishop h3 check first, but then taking the queen is going to be completely enough. As I am attacking the rook and also the pawn, bishop h3 is always there, so this is actually a completely winning position. However, my opponent missed the idea, and he played rook takes g3 and then queen takes c6. By the way, he's a grandmaster, and not only a grandmaster, he's 2700. Why do you think he missed this line? Because the whole position, he's unfamiliar with the whole position. It feels like if he's playing like 960, you know, this is the other the Fischer's type of chess, the random chess. Okay, let's see one more game. Playing against Vladimir Petkov, d4, dc4, 96 again, the same move order, queen g5, knight d4, knight g3, and he played not the main line actually. Here he played d5, queen b3 was the main line in which we allowed bishop takes f7, knight d5 attacking, bishop b5 check c6, kind of forcing chess, knight d5, bishop b4 check, you take, I take back, f4, bishop g4c, again very aggressive chess, very active chess. And I am ready to castle while my opponent king is just suffering. Check, and now rook d8, attacking the queen, queen c5, knight h4, threatening ideas like queen g2 now, queen takes b5, check, bishop d7, queen f1, queen e6. Always, guys, always, if your opponent has a weak king, never exchange queens. So queen e6, e4, queen b6 check, queen takes b4, I won a piece. Knight g4 actually was also winning. I missed knight g4 during the game, but again, this is a blitz game, so you don't need to over analyze it. More games against another grandmaster. Jose Martinez, this is not Alcantara. I hoped he's Alcantara. It will make more sense. Anyways, knight c6, knight f6, again e4, queen g5, bishop h3. He just gave up an exchange, you know, without any compensation. I do believe, like bishop is. Maybe here it was better to play f5 actually and just supporting the pawn. I lost a pawn, but I have up an exchange, so I'm materially up a pawn. And sooner, not later, I do believe I won the game. Maybe I misplayed it a bit, but g6 king g7, yeah, maybe I used the second strategy, which is flagging him, and I do believe he got flagged after king d8. Yeah, king here, take. How many minutes does he have? Like just 1 minute. I won on time, but I was winning out of the opening. This is actually my argument. And the last game was against the well-known Rafael Vaganyan. He played d4, d5, c4, dc, again e3, knight c6. See how many games in this line. Queen g5 again, and then he found this idea of knight h3, and then queen b3 again, but thanks, I could go bishop d6. I knew this idea. Bishop f7, king d8, knight de4, takes, and now simply queen f3. I won. Maybe not a piece, actually a piece, because knight g3 is not there, as there's queen or bishop takes g3. Guys, this guy, I do believe he beat Tal before, and he's very well known. So just to trick him in this way, it's not to trick, to catch him in the opening in this way, that's not actually out of the sky. It's out of preparation, out of smart preparation, practical ones, new, fresh ones. Knight d6, queen h1, and the game actually was a bit more complicated than it should be. But at the end of the day, I won too many material, and I won actually that game. Queen b6, queen a6, a5, check. I opened up the position, and I won in time, though my position was winning anyways. I have a rook and exchange up, and this is actually a very weak king. Though the game started most of the game started that you seems or look like having the worst king, but no, actually your opponent. By the way, I don't know how many games that I have played with this Gambit, but maybe more than 300-400 games. You will find it. Like again, you go here, searching my name, searching my games, all recent games, and then won or lost. It doesn't matter the results, like any results, for example, and any opponent, any opponent, and you will find too many games without any title, with any simple games. Like, and here you choose the Queen's Gambit because we don't have the Queen's Gambit accepted, and after that you choose the black because I'm playing this in black's point of view, and the match type doesn't matter, and maybe newest or oldest. You can try the both way and then search, and you find the games, and you'll gain at least one idea out of each game. But the studying at the beginning is completely enough, and I hope you're enjoying this so far. By the way, guys, if you enjoy what you have seen, we have talked about the King's Indian, we have talked about the Accelerated Dragon Sicilians, we have talked about the Riti opening for white, Queen's Gambit for white, too many good stuff for white, so, and for black as well. So don't forget to check out the channel, don't forget to subscribe for more content, and thanks for the like, thanks for the sharing, thanks for everything. See you in another one.